Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to LinkedIn Tuesday. We're very glad you're with us today. It's November 7th, Election Day 2023. Please note this event is being recorded and is currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. For those people on Zoom, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please just enter them into the chat window. For those watching on Facebook, thank you for joining us today. Please just enter your questions you have in the comment field. We are monitoring both feeds. We'll be sure to get your questions answered for you. Also, LinkedIn, this is all about connecting with everybody else. So feel free in the comment box to put in your name, comma, a position you're looking for, comma, a couple target companies, comma, your LinkedIn address, and connect with everybody else who's on the call today, because you never know who else is going to be able to help you in your job search. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2008, almost 15 years ago, I started a website called careerdfw.org, a website to help those who were unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I launched a second website, careerusa.org, to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search that you may not know. It is available on Amazon, or if you see me in person, I always have copies with me. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. The group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over when the prior leader landed a job. And since 2017, I've been a member of the Practice Interview Team, also known as the PIT Crew. Remember, your LinkedIn profile, your resume, they don't get you a new job. They're not going to get you a new job. What they will get you is a phone call. How well you practice your interviewing skills, that's what's going to get you your next job. So for more information, just go to dallaspitcrew.com. Well, we have 4 outstanding speakers who talk about LinkedIn. They rotate through on a monthly basis. Today, our speaker is Ruth Lipsky. She's a career coach. She works for Lee Heck Harrison. She works with job seekers every day. And today, she's going to share her newest presentation, LinkedIn Tools for Job Seekers. So, Ruth, thank you very much for being with us. And I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything that you do for job seekers, and this type of activity really does help focus people's attention in the right place, and what a blessing that can be too. So let's take a look at what we are going to be viewing today, and that's going to be the tools that LinkedIn has created for job seekers. LinkedIn has been creating more of these as years have gone by, and it's a good idea to know where everything is and how to use them. The first thing we'll do is take a look at the LinkedIn Recruiter software. And LinkedIn Recruiter software is used by about half of the recruiters that are utilizing LinkedIn as a search tool. The rest of them simply use the search bar and a Boolean algorithm in order to find people. But if you're looking at the LinkedIn Recruiter software, it's probably easiest to understand how the search happens and what is behind the search. In this case, we have a recruiter who's looking for a project manager in the greater Chicago area and has skills in business strategy and in analytics. What comes back is nearly 43,000 total people who match at least a portion of what this recruiter is looking for. That's too many to be looking at by anybody. So LinkedIn has created some spotlight features. And the spotlight features are, is the person open to work? Do they have a connection to the company that I'm in? Have they expressed any interest in joining the company? And are they considered to be an active talent? And these spotlight features can be seen up above at the top of any recruiter search. Recruiters use these in order to sort people down. Now, the thing to remember also about LinkedIn is that they never do anything randomly. So there's a reason that Emily Dalton is in #1 position, Channing Curry is in #2, Aubrey Mackey is #3. LinkedIn feels that these are the people out of these thousands that are most reliable have the most skills, and would be the best people to look at more closely. So we're going to find out why it is that they became so high up in the group. And that's going to be our agenda for today. We're going to be talking about why a headline and title is going to help in the job search, the skills and the tools that LinkedIn has created for that. And we'll look in more detail at the spotlight features, the hashtag open to work, the mutual interest, and the active talent, and see the tools that LinkedIn has created for you to showcase those interests. Along the way, we're going to be watching for Jeff to stop at any point, and we can ask questions on any of these modules as we go through them. But one of the first things to know about your headlines and your titles is that when somebody lands on your profile, 30% of them are never even going to scroll down. They're going to see your headshot. They're going to see what background picture you put in. They're going to see your headline. They'll see the first 4 lines of your about section, and that's all they need to see. They will make a decision on that little piece of information. And notice how little information that LinkedIn is giving in these searches. They are giving the current title. They are giving the past 2 titles, and that's about it. The headline information is the only thing that is a true variable through here, which is why we're going to concentrate on what this headline is able to show to a recruiter. So as we're taking a look through here, the about section, we want to build with a lot of keywords. Most of that is for the algorithm so that you can be found. It's not necessarily for the recruiter who's going to be looking at you. Although if a recruiter is very serious about you, they will be some of the 3% who are actually going to open up that section and look at that. So you need a headline. You need a headline that's going to tell the recruiter who you are and what you do. If you are in a position where it is key to have certain software or hardware information, then you can put that in the headline area to tell the recruiter, the hiring manager, that you've got these skills. They're looking for them, you put them right up in the headline area. If you have a broad type of title, like a project manager or a program manager, you need to put in something that is explaining what type of work you do, because those titles are so broad that it could be any place in the organization, could be in any industry, it could be doing any number of functions. So being able to put in able to, focused on, specializing in, is going to give the recruiter a better feel for what type of experience you have. Same thing with the accountant role. Most companies have an accountant, but in order to distinguish yourself from other people who are good with profit, loss, credits, debits, being able to put in a statement about why you are different from those other people with similar titles is going to help you out. The recruiter is going to see it, they're going to respond to it. The higher up you are in an organization, like a vice president or a senior director role, you're going to want a more strategic statement. You're going to want to talk about what your results are as opposed to what the actual tools were that got you there. So creating value for business through effective marketing strategies, good thing to be able to say, because this is what you're selling yourself for. As a director of customer relations, helping the world become more customer-centric, doesn't say what tools are being used, doesn't talk how it's being done. It's a vision, it is a statement of worth and value, and being able to indicate to the recruiters that you can do this for their organization is going to make you more appealing to the recruiter. They will sometimes go down through 100, maybe 125 of the people who are on the list that LinkedIn provides them. They're going to be absolutely looking at those who have the more interesting titles and the more interesting headlines. So, one of the things we're going to want to do then is to expand the titles that we're using. A lot of times a person's title isn't necessarily an understandable term in the industry. It may be something that was provided within the company, and it may mean something important in the company, but if you don't think that a recruiter or somebody outside the company is going to understand what it is you did, then you add more titles. So in my case, I'm a career consultant at LHH, but career coach is used more often in the industry. So I used to pipe the straight up and down thing that's right above your enter key in order to be a separator. These two titles are very similar, but they can show up differently in a job search. So putting both in there is going to indicate that although this is my internal title, you might also know me as this title. The other thing that you can do in your title area is that you may have been given a title and that might not be what you were actually doing in that job. Happens a lot for project managers and program managers. But in this case, I had a title, but my full set of responsibility was to move our training material into a virtual environment. And along the way, I became an instructional designer and an e-learning developer. And I put those in my title area to indicate that this is the type of role that I did in this job. And these are the types of roles that I can do in the future. So if your title does not necessarily explain well enough what you did, put it in parentheses, mostly the titles. You can put skills in here, but titles are generally better because recruiters are looking for titles that are going to bring you to the forefront of what a recruiter is going to be able to see. It's also important to be able to use the titles that LinkedIn has standardized. LinkedIn has 6,000 different titles, and recruiters, regardless of what the name of is within the company, they're going to be searching for a LinkedIn standardized title because that's going to bring them the job family that they're looking for most closely. So we'll take a look at job standardization in just a sec. In fact, let's do it right now. If we take a look at the types of things that you're going to be seeing in LinkedIn, you're going to have your headline area. We're going to be talking about what you do, but you've got an open to work area. And if you open up the open to work area, you'll see that you can put in job titles. The only job titles that you can pick are the ones that LinkedIn has created. This is not a free form area where you can type in anything. So when you're adding the title and you say that you want to be a project manager, there are a lot of different project managers to differentiate what part of the organization you're in, what type of role you are utilizing. This is all the job family, so it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see just project managers. It's going to see different levels, different departments. Pick out the ones that are most appropriate for you. But there are enough titles out there that you should be able to find. In this case, you're allowed to have 5 job titles in this job preferences. Find 5 that look good to you and add those in, because those are things that the recruiter is going to be able to see and is going to be able to use. So going back into what we're looking at next are going to be skills. And we've talked all along, probably in every other of the webinars that you've been in, every one of the sessions that Jeff has provided to you, is that you need to say that you have the skills that that company is looking for. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to find you with the automation that is in place right now. And one of the ways that you can find out what skills are going to be needed is that in your profile page, you can use this More button to build a resume. And when you build a resume, they're going to be asking what type of title, and they're going to give you some resume insights. It's easier to see if we go back out onto a profile page. So on your profile page, you've got the More button. When you click on that, you can build a resume. You're always going to create it from your profile. You can update a resume, upload it, your master resume, but in this case, we're going to create it from the information that you have in your profile page. And for the title, let's say that I'm looking for, stay with the project, let's go with the project specialist. We're going to apply this, and LinkedIn is going to create a resume based on information that is in my profile. I can download it and I can use it, but it is also going to say, here's some insights into this. If you're looking for a project specialist role, here are some of the skills that you've got in your resume, this new resume built from your profile, that are good. We're looking for those, but you're missing some of the keywords that we would normally expect a project specialist to have. So if I have either engineering, data analysis, AutoCAD, or manufacturing process improvement in my background, I need to go back into my LinkedIn profile and add those in. Doesn't matter where you add them. You can put them in your skill section. You can add them into your experience section. You can add them into your about section. You just need to have them someplace on your profile page, because the more keywords that you have associated with a title that you're looking for, the easier it is for a recruiter to be able to find you. Okay, on that one? This is kind of a busy slide, but the other thing that you want to be able to do is to tell LinkedIn and all recruiters that you truly do have a strong skill. And it used to be that recruiters were dependent on the number of people who had endorsed a skill. The more people who endorsed a skill, presumably the stronger that skill was. And they found that that wasn't necessarily true. So they created skills assessments for themselves. And a skill assessment, you take a test. The test, if you pass it, indicates that you have a high level of competency in that role. And it can be in a technical, it could be in a business, it could be in a design category, but it needs to be something that is going to have some skills that are black and white. This is the right answer. Now, if you take this assessment and you pass it, LinkedIn is saying that you are 20% more likely to be offered a job where that is one of the key skills. So take the skill assessment. And where is it? When you're in your skills area, you're going to see that there's a blue outline box that says demonstrate skills. And that's going to take you to a page that has, in alphabetical order, all of the tests that LinkedIn has created. In this case, I picked out the Agile Methodologies assessment, and it will tell you, here's what it looks like. You get 15 multiple choice questions. It is a timed test, 1.5 minutes per question. You have to get at least a 70% in order to earn a badge. And the badge goes on your profile page and is visible to the recruiters, and recruiters can search for people who have passed specific tests. Now, what's one of the nice additions that has been made recently is that you can take a practice test before you actually take the full test. So if there's some aspects of the test that you aren't quite sure about and that shows up on the practice, you might want to go out and do a little bit more studying before you take the test. What happens if you pass the test? They say, yay, you earned a badge. And here's what the badge looks like. Clipboard.
Hey, Ruth, I think we're only seeing your LinkedIn profile. We're not seeing your slide deck.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I was kind of wondering about that.
Yep.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so we saw the skills. Now
Yes.
we're back on skill assessment, right?
Correct.
Okay. 3 areas to be tested in. They have categories for technical, they have categories for business, and they have categories for design. And if you pass one of these tests and a company is looking for somebody who has a strong competency in that area, LinkedIn says that you're 20% more likely to get hired for that role if you pass the test. So here's what it looks like. In your skills area, go to demonstrate skills. Tells you how this particular test is set up. Here's your practice button down at the bottom. If you pass it, you get a badge. that is placed in the skills section of your LinkedIn profile. And then when recruiters are going to be searching for somebody who has that skill because it's needed for success in that role, your name is going to come up in the higher portion of the skills. Now, the other part of the skills is that LinkedIn has created a list of skills that are associated with a particular role. So if we were looking for an implementation project manager job, here are the skills that are normally associated with that. And these are in order of importance. So project implementation and software implementation are the higher level skills that are needed and need to be part of this profile. It also says if you want to find other jobs that use this set of skills, here we've got some over here. So it's going to give you what type of match rate, the different types of jobs that you can move into fairly readily. And it's easiest if we go out and we actually take a look at this. So
Is that in LinkedIn, Ruth? Is that?
it is a separate page, and the separate page is going to be on an independent page. And how come that's not showing up? Let me see. Okay, I seem to be having trouble finding. All right, this is an independent page from your LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn has that set of information on your LinkedIn profile. We've got the tabs for home, jobs, my profile. But this is going to be a separate area where it's giving information about LinkedIn, about job search, about what the economic outlook is. So it'll have information that could be useful if you wanted to take a look at what the future of work is going to be, what kind of skills are going to be needed. But we're going to be looking more at this page, which is called the Career Explorer. And the Career Explorer allows you to look in detail at what type of job you have and how that matches into other types of roles. So if we went back into a project manager role, and let's say it's going to be, in this case, let's do human resources. A human resources project manager should have this set of skills. These are the things that a recruiter is probably going to be interested in as they're looking for somebody to come in to their organization. You can also take a look at where do I go after I've been an HR project manager. If I'm looking for the popularity one, then my next step is probably going to be a manager rather than just a project manager. And 86% of the skills on this list are needed for this job. And it tells you which are overlaps and which ones are new. It'll give you opportunities to build skills so that if you are missing a skill, here are some that might be important to look at. And it'll allow you to find jobs on LinkedIn or find people who might be worthy of connecting with into your network in LinkedIn. So your options up here are going to be, do you want it to be a popular one or do you want it to be something that is very similar in score? In most jobs, there's not an awful lot of difference in these, but it's good to take a look at all of them if you're looking for what's my next step now that I have this job. But within your LinkedIn profile, this is the skills tool that LinkedIn is providing us. Here are the skills that are normally expected out of somebody with this job title, and putting them in this type of order might not necessarily be important, but be sure to have them either in about, experience, or your skill set. Okay, on how to get to that one. And Let's put
Yeah, I
that.
put the link for everybody, so if you want to copy the link, it's in the chat window.
Ah,
Yeah.
thank you. Perfect.
Yeah, Jeff, Ruth, so if you're just in your LinkedIn profile, how do you get to this page?
You don't.
You
Yeah.
don't. It's
You
a
have to use
separate
that.
link.
You have to use that link.
Got it.
Or if you wanted just to Google Career Explorer, that would take you there. But this is a completely separate page. They are not linked in any way whatsoever. So it's one that you're going to have to know that there's a Career Explorer page, or there's a separate LinkedIn that is independent of the information that you normally are working with. The blog
They
is an
don't promote
interesting.
that. They don't promote it at all through their Premier premium
There
site.
is nothing in LinkedIn Premier that talks about this.
Wow,
LinkedIn does not do a particularly good job of talking about all the tools that they have.
got it. Okay, thank you.
If you're interested in LinkedIn, the blog can be an interesting part of it also, so that you can see some insights that they have, what the labor market is looking like. So it has information that is more research information on what jobs are out there, what types of skills. But I really feel that Career Explorer portion is a huge plus if you're looking to find, of the 2,000 skills that you have as a person, which 25 do I need to highlight on my LinkedIn profile and my resume? This gives you at least a bit more of an understanding of that. Any other questions on that one? Okay. Let's take a look. I went back to the start. Took a while. All right, we're going to take a look at the spotlight features. You saw that on the LinkedIn Recruiter software, you could put in a title, you can put in skills, you get a lot of names back, and you don't have a lot of information in there. And LinkedIn has spotlight features so that you're going to be able to narrow down the people who are truly most qualified for the role that you're looking for. And one of them is the hashtag open to work. And the hashtag open to work, LinkedIn is saying that if you have that in a public format, so that you actually have the hashtag open to work banner around your headshot, you will receive 20 to 50% more notices from recruiters. And that's what you want. You want to be found on LinkedIn. You want recruiters to be messaging you in order to say, saw your profile, looks like we have a match here, would love to talk with you. This does need to be refreshed every 2 months because it goes stale. And when it goes stale, that means that LinkedIn does not feel that you're as serious about it, or that maybe you found a job and forgot to turn it off. But after 2 months, turn it off, turn it right back on again. You don't have to wait any period of time at all in order to refresh it and put a new date stamp on it for LinkedIn. The hashtag open to work is the most frequently used filter in the LinkedIn Recruiter software. It's the first thing that recruiters are looking for. They don't want to talk people out of a job that they're happy with. They want to find the people who are willing to discuss a new position and are available immediately. So, hashtag open to work. Not everybody likes this. Some people are still old school about, I'm not comfortable telling people that I've been laid off. Recruiters love this feature. The next spotlight feature is the mutual interest. And mutual interest allows you to tell a company that you're interested in them, that you like them. And in order to do that, there are 4 different ways on LinkedIn that you can tell a company that you're interested in them. You can follow the company, you can set up a job alert, you can set up a interest, and you can set up a connection to people. And easiest way to get into this is also to go back onto LinkedIn profile and take a closer look at that. So let's say that you're looking for a job at Amazon. You're going to type it in at the search bar on any of the tabs except for the jobs tab. You're going to find the company, click on it, and it gives you a little box right up here that says you can follow it or you can view the page. Let's go ahead and view the full page. And in the blue button, you follow, which allows this company to put information into your home page. Here are new products. Here's what we're doing for employee engagement. Here's what we're doing in order to make the world a safer place environmentally. By following, you're saying, I want to hear more about your company. And that's a good thing to be able to do. But in the About section here, companies are putting in, are you interested in working with us in the future? So even if there's not a job posting out there that you particularly want to see, you can say, yeah, I'm interested. And that gives recruiters a much better feel for who should they be contacting when they have an open job. They want people who are interested in the company and are willing to work for them. So we've got following the company and saying in the About section, I'm interested. Then we go into the Jobs section, and you're not going into the Jobs section to look for all of the job openings because you really don't care about that as much. You can go on to their company website outside of LinkedIn to find that. But you want to create a job alert. And the job alert is the most powerful of the tools to be able to tell a company who you are and what you're looking for. And if you wanted to tell them that you are looking for a project management, program management office, once again, these are LinkedIn standardized titles. These are not the titles that Amazon would use. So there might not be a one-to-one relationship between what you see here and the job titles that you see on the LinkedIn career page. You are going to need to add a location because that's going to tell them which geographic location recruiter needs to be in touch with you if needed. And then you create a job alert. The nice part about creating a job alert is that if a job of that job family gets posted on LinkedIn by the recruiter, LinkedIn is going to immediately scan the job posting, scan all of the people who have created a job alert for that, and they will push back to the recruiter. Here are people who are interested and seem to have a match to the skills that you're looking for. You might want to talk with them first. So great tool to be able to use for your targeted company, but be aware that LinkedIn only allows you to use 20 job alerts. Some of them you're going to use in your jobs tab when you're creating a job alert. Some of them you're going to want for the companies that you're targeting. You can use just one, even if you're interested in more than one part of an organization. But as long as you have some job out there that is indicative of what you can do for that company, they'll be able to find you. So that was 3. Let's see, we had the follow, we had the I'm interested in about, we had the job alert in jobs. The next one's in people. LinkedIn gives priority to people who are connected to employees within a company that they're interested in. So in this people tab, it can bring up the total number of people who are working for the company. And it gives you 2 columns initially, where they live, where they study. You can show more, so let's open that up. Let's say that we're looking for a job in the greater Seattle area. That narrows it down to 53,000. You have arrows up at the top so that you can find other columns. And if we click, we can see that one of the next columns is what they do. This is what department they work in. So if we're looking for a role in the program and project management area, we'll click on that. And we keep narrowing down the number of people who are available. And so we saw what they did, what they're skilled at, and what they studied might not be particularly important. But if you're connected, do you have a first-degree connection at this company? If so, easy enough to be able to message them I am considering this company as a possible career change. Would love to talk with you about how you like it there, and possibly who the hiring manager is for this role. So if you've got a first degree connection, you're allowed to talk with them. If you only have second degree connections with the company, then you're going to be creating a different type of message. I see we have connections in common in our LinkedIn profiles. I'm considering job opportunities at Amazon. Would love to connect with you. Pretty straightforward. You need to be connected to at least one person in each of your targeted company because that's part of the algorithm that LinkedIn has. Being able to show interest in a company so the company can come back and take a closer look at you. If you want to do it the easy way, you can just say, tell me about the recruiters in this area, because recruiters are generally the people who are most likely to connect with you. They are normally more active on LinkedIn. Their job is to collect people, and being able to find people who might have that hashtag open hiring now. It's the purple one. Don't see them right now. But LinkedIn is going to give you everybody who was ever a recruiter, as well as people who are currently a recruiter. So senior program manager at Amazon, probably in her past, she was a recruiter. She's not now, but this search is going to give you people like that. If you are looking for an executive position, you're going to be looking for people who have that type of title. Never use the white connect button because that sends I'd like to be part of your network, which is not a very compelling reason to connect with someone. You will always go clicking on their name or on their picture onto their profile page and look for the blue connect button, because the blue connect button allows you to personalize a message up to 300 characters and is going to give a reason for being able to connect. If you also wanted to connect, let's get rid of the recruiter one, because there's a limit to the number of searches you can do. If you wanted to be able to narrow it down so that you've got something in common, let's say that you went to Texas A&M. Let's find out how many people in the Amazon area went to the same school you did. You can find now that only 26 of them fit this set of filters that we have. That they are in the program or project management department, that they are in the greater Seattle area, and they went to Texas A&M. Now, this is a reasonable number of people to look through. Are there any people here that are going to be a good match for you, that would accept an invitation from you? And your invitation is going to be, I see you also went to Texas A&M. I enjoyed my time there. I'm considering Amazon as a possible career move, or I have just applied for a project management role in Amazon. Would love to talk with you about Amazon. Let's connect. So finding people can be either by title, like recruiters, or it could be things that you have in common with that person in order to ensure that you are connected to at least one person within that company, because that is part of the algorithm. Okay, and those 4 areas.
Makes sense, Ruth. Thank you.
Okay. So let's take a look at your visibility. LinkedIn is giving your LinkedIn profile a score every day. And a big part of it is how active are you? And that means that the spotlight feature that they use that they call active talent, it is a jumble of a lot of different things. But being active on LinkedIn, where you are actually using LinkedIn to find jobs, to connect with people, to comment on the homepage. if you are likely to respond when a recruiter reaches out to you, if you've updated something in your LinkedIn profile, or if you've added your resume to your LinkedIn profile so that recruiters can pick it easily. So on these, for activities in general, on your home page, you've got a set of information that LinkedIn thinks is of interest to you, based on what you've been looking for, based on the searches, based on who you're connecting with. They're going to be giving you information on the home page that they think you might like to hear about. You should comment on those posts at least 3 times a week. Find something out there to add your comment to. You need to put in a minimum of 12 words. It used to be a minimum of 8. They've recently changed it to 12. And it needs to be something that is going to continue the conversation. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate learning more about this. I've seen it in my work too. That's the type of thing you need to put in. It's much better than thanks. And do not use those little emotion things like Facebook would have, the like, the interesting. Yeah, stay away from those, because as far as we can tell, that does not give your score on LinkedIn any kind of a boost at all. The other thing you can do on your homepage is you can post your own content, and that is normally more valuable as far as your points that you're going to get for this. You can find articles on another site, and you can add your comments and then post it. You can create something of your own so that you're talking about what you've learned recently, what you're doing on your job search. Anything that you want to put in that is created by you and only you is going to be strong post comment. But on a weekly basis, you either need to put in an article or put in your own group of information. Don't post on Mondays and Fridays. There's just not as much interest in being on there. And putting in hashtags is going to be an important part also. Now, LinkedIn has recently had problems with hashtags, in that they were trying to change over how the hashtags are listed, and they botched it. They pulled it out completely, and they hope to be able to get that back soon, but it's not there right now. So hashtags will be coming soon. The other part that is huge for recruiters, and it used to be their own separate spotlight. They've now combined it with a talent spotlight, but it's, do you reply when a recruiter does send you a message? So every time a recruiter sends you a message on LinkedIn, you need to let them know if you're interested or not. And you can make it a full conversation. I'm not interested in this role. It looks to be more junior than what I'm looking for. If something comes up on a more senior position, I'd be delighted to talk. So LinkedIn is giving you a percentage as part of your score on likely to respond, so that they can find the people who are willing to engage in conversations. Now, if it is a message from somebody trying to sell you something, there are a lot of solicitations out there. There are a lot of people selling on LinkedIn. You don't need to respond to them, only to the recruiters. Questions about what we've seen?
Nothing in the chat window. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to unmute your mic and ask. Let's see, Kim has a question. I noticed that you can add multiple companies to one job alert and also multiple job titles, I believe. So is there potentially no limit to the companies you can get an alert for, but does this hurt your ranking? Does this hurt your search ranking in any way?
Well, you can only have 20 job alerts. So if you had 2 for a company, you're probably wasting some of your time there. Are you using them also in your jobs area?
Yeah, hi Ruth. This is Kim. So somewhere I can't point to it right now, but somewhere when you look at your job alerts, you can edit the job alert, and you can add multiple companies through the filters.
You can, yes.
So So in theory, then, you know, let's say you have an alert set up for, let's start with, let's say, Cisco marketing manager. You can then modify that alert to add multiple companies and then even add multiple job titles.
When you're working on the jobs tab, you're not in communication with the company though. When you're on the company page on LinkedIn, you are in communication and you're feeding information to that company. But on the jobs tab, you're just doing an overall skimming of jobs that are available to you for that type of role. And the companies, you're right, they really don't matter. You can have as many companies as you're interested in, but the job alert itself, let's take a look. What type industry were you in, Kim?
Telecoms.
Okay, let's go down and say you're looking for a full-time job. Green jobs, by the way, means that you're looking for a job in the environmental industry, either a company that is providing services or products to the environment, or it's a company that is hiring for that environmental side of their company. Industry. LinkedIn has 149 different industries, so you can add in industries if they're not on that list. Here we've got 68 of them. You can skip a lot of the titles and things. The salary, well, let's say that you wanted 160,000. You've got 9 results. So you're looking for marketing managers, full-time jobs, high experience level in this industry that pays 160, set the job alert. And when you set the job alert, the companies that are on this list don't see it. So it's not a power, it is a tool for finding jobs, but it's not a communication tool with the company. You have to go onto the company page for that. Did that answer the question?
I'm struggling to replicate what I'm talking about. I guess I didn't prepare something ahead of time, but I think if you go to your own profile, there is a section there that, or there used to be, called job alerts.
It's
Now,
now preferences. And in the preferences, you have to go into the job alert area. And then you can edit it there.
Yes, I'm in there right now. So you can, using the jobs tab, the little picture of the briefcase, you've got to go in and complete all the filters. And then when you reach that point, do a search. And then at the top of the list that comes up of all the potential jobs, there is a little switch that you can flick that basically makes it a job alert. So that'll keep coming up. So that's how you get to it.
Right. So anytime LinkedIn has a new job that comes onto their board that has all of these filters, they notify you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Usually about 8 o'clock in the morning, there's normally 2 emails that come out.
All right. You've been using this for a while.
Yeah, a long time.
So is there a question on how this differs from the other alerts that we set? Or are you comfortable with the difference in these?
No, I think these are good.
Okay. I do recommend that everybody use the all filters because it does allow you to put in the different types of industries and provides you with ability to put in a minimum pay, and that's base salary.
Yeah, the all filters makes it very functional.
There you go. Okay, thank you for that question.
Anybody else have a question? All right. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Mark has a question. If you try the LinkedIn skill assessment and do not meet the 75%, does that impact you in any way? Also, does it pass, fail, or does it does a higher passing score mean anything?
Nobody sees the score that you have. And let's go in. So all it says is that you passed. It doesn't say what it is that your score was. If you do not pass, then nobody sees that at all, but it's going to be 6 months before you can retake the test. But at least nobody sees that it's the second time that you've taken it. If you fail it twice, then you never get to take the test again. And we're seeing that recruiters are sometimes asking people to go onto LinkedIn and to take that LinkedIn assessment for Excel or one of the skills that they're looking for. And they say, we'll interview you if you pass the test. Get back with us and let us know. We'll double check it on your profile, and then we'll start the interview process. So if you're really working toward a technical area that would require expertise in something, take the test and make sure that they find you more easily.
That was a really good question. Thank you for that. Here's another question. Let's see. Can you explain the path to skill assessment again? I missed it.
All right, well, let's go back. When you're on your profile page, you're going to go down to your skill section, and you've got a box that says demonstrate skills, and that's going to give you all of the skill assessments. And the skill assessments are you can put in industry knowledge, you can put in tools and technology, you can search for something. So if you felt that Excel was an important one, then you can find that one. And from there, well, I already took that one. Take a look at cybersecurity. It's going to tell you, here's the multiple choice, how long, score, and this is pretty standard. It's generally going to be 15 to 20 multiple choice questions. You're normally going to have a minute and a half per question. And if you get a 70 or higher, you're going to get this check mark. And that'll show to the recruiters that you have the ability to have expert skills in that.
Hey, Ruth, do they have training in LinkedIn for those specific skills so that you can take the training class and then take the test?
They have it on LinkedIn Learning. If you've got LinkedIn Learning, then you can do some of the learning modules for that. On something like cybersecurity, though, I think there are 85 different modules, starting with here's the introduction to cybersecurity, all the way up to here's the fraud assessment and things of that sort. But LinkedIn Learning has all of that. Other than that, may not be easy. You may want to just try taking the practice.
Gotcha.
All right, any other questions, anybody? If you don't have LinkedIn Learning with the premium version, if you have a library card, you can go to your public library and you can access LinkedIn Learning or whatever they happen to call it through your public library for free. So be sure to get your library card and check out all the different things that you can do that way.
Hey, Ruth,
And Jeff, the library is a great resource. Go to one of the librarians, let them know you're in a job search, and they pay for everything in the neighborhood. If you wanted to find the list of the top 100 companies to work for in your metropolitan area, the local newspaper or the local business journal generally creates that and won't give you full access unless you're a subscriber. The library has that full set, and you can print that out at the library. So
Yeah,
don't pay for things that you don't have to.
The Dallas Business Journal just came out with their top 100 companies about 3 weeks ago, and this past Sunday, the Dallas Morning News came out with their top 100 companies. So if you can pick up a copy of this past Sunday's paper, you've got it. If not, I'm sure go to the library and you can get it.
Ruth, how do you know if you've kind of optimized your LinkedIn profile? I mean, I've been working on it for a while, listening to experts like yourself and, Jeff's Weekly. How do you know if you're there, if you've got a good profile?
That's a really good question, and that'll be in the analytics. So if you are being viewed, if you have search appearances, then as long as those numbers are going up, your profile is good. If they are going down, that means that perhaps you're being found, but nobody is impressed with what you've got in your headline or in your first four sentences of your about section. But keep track of your analytics. If you continue to be active on LinkedIn, those numbers will be going up, which means that recruiters are going to be able to find you.
And where's analytics again? That's in their
Should be right on the very front page.
It'll be on your profile page, and it'll be the box right underneath your calling card section.
Why don't I see it on mine?
Have you set up to be a creator? Or if you're in creator mode, you don't see that because you don't care. A creator mode is somebody who is selling products on LinkedIn and is normally posting 3 or 4 times a week. If you're looking for a job, you really shouldn't be in creator mode.
Well, I am, and I'll turn it off. Thank you. That was helpful.
Okay. Okay, Jeff, back to you.
All righty. Well, thank you very much. If you would like to connect with Ruth, you're welcome to do so. Please send her a personal note. Here's what her LinkedIn profile looks like, but always send that personal note. Personally, I don't connect with anybody who doesn't send me a personal note. So, I just want to know that you saw me here. Tell me how we connected. All right. Next week, our speaker is Kurt Vondermatter. He's going to talk about LinkedIn from a recruiter's eye. Kurt is a retained search consultant. He pays the big bucks for the full-blown recruiting package, and he will show us what that looks like from the back end. So join us next Monday or next Tuesday at 1 p.m. All right, if everybody will please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeff Morris, promise to always send a personal note whenever I send a LinkedIn request to connect with anyone. This includes when I use my cell phone or my computer. Very, very, very important. Send that personal note. Tell somebody why we should connect with you, what the connection is, because you have a much greater chance of getting that connection when you send that personal note. As Ruth mentioned earlier, when you see a white connect button, don't ever click on it. Click on the person's face. Look for that blue connect button. If you don't see a blue connect button, sometimes you have to open up the more feature and click on more to get down to connect. You can always send that personal note that way. Career DFW, Career USA, we're putting on training 4 days a week. Please join us tomorrow. The practice interview team will be conducting an actual practice interview. It will be live. It'll be at 1 o'clock Central tomorrow. You'll be able to watch it on Zoom only. There will be no Facebook tomorrow. So Zoom only. It will not be recorded. We only record it for the interviewees so they can go back and watch their performance. This Thursday, second Thursday of the month, we're going to talk all about networking. Mark McDonald will be with us to talk about networking with a purpose. Networking is networking, but everybody has a little bit different mode. Maybe you'll pick up 1 or 2 things that you can do. So join us this Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. And then this Friday at the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group meeting, we're celebrating Career DFW turning 15 years old. It's hard to believe it's been 15 years since I started the website. I'm going to give you a little history about how it started, why I started it, what's been done, a little bit, some numbers that have had, just some number details about the website. Then I'll share my top career tips, just some things I've learned over the years that I think everybody needs to know about. If you'd like to join the Career DFW or Career USA LinkedIn groups, you're welcome to join one or both. You do not need to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to join the Career DFW group. Last week, we passed the 15,000 member mark. So it's pretty monumental. 15 years, 15,000 members. I think that's pretty cool. This session has been recorded. You will be able to go back and watch it on the Career DFW Facebook page or the Career USA YouTube channel. On the Career USA YouTube channel, be sure to click on playlist. When you click on playlist, there'll be 7 different playlists that come up. Every video that I upload goes into one of those 7 lists. Click on LinkedIn. Down at the bottom, you see that red arrow, view full playlist. When you do that, up will come a list with all the different dates in chronological order, who the speaker was, and the job and the title of the presentation. You can go back and watch any of those at your convenience. If you're not receiving emails about our workshop, please join the Career USA mailing list. Scan this QR code. It'll start an email. You just have to hit the send button. You don't have to put anything in it, or send a blank email to Career USA, the +, subscribe at groups.io. You'll never be spammed, but what you will get is the topic of the day, the title of the day, and most importantly, the Zoom link of the day. That way you can just open up the email and join us on Zoom. Please remember, Career DFW, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. All of our speakers, Ruth is a volunteer, all of our speakers are volunteer. I'm a volunteer. Everything I've done over the last 15 years has just been to help you land your next great opportunity. So thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Have a great Tuesday. We hope to see you later in the week.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.